Hello everybody and welcome back to Blast the Process 4 in the middle of the Sonic block, and we have a race between Kingrhodestn and Voidkura for Sonic 3D Blast. Hey friend.
We've got mic mouth noises, but hi everyone, my name is Amber Cypher, I'm one of the commentators. I commentated Knuckles Chaotix last night, and I am joined by another commentator.
Hi, I'm TGH, and I'm here for some reason.
He also has run this game as well.
Yes. Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic race between two of the best runners in the game, period.
End of story.
We have Voidkura and Kingrhodestn, who are going to be doing a beat-the-game race of Sonic 3D Blast.
And if you're judging the gameplay by the demo of of the games, like, trust me, it's way better than that, I promise.
No, that's the real race right there, is the two demos. The two demos going face to face. Like, I don't know, that seems pretty exciting.
Oh wait, mine's not running the demo, I messed up.
Oh, you want it? Okay. So this is going to be the Beat the Game category, so we won't be collecting any Chaos Cough Drops, and this is on the Sega Genesis version of the game as well.
Good.
So, just to cover those and get those out of the way, because the #1 question I always hear is this the PC version? Is this the Saturn version? No. Is this the Game Gear game? God, no.
Correct. The answer
don't
is...
even talk about that one.
No.
the answer is this is the correct version.
This is the good version.
The Genesis version.
This is the banger soundtrack version. But yeah, whenever both runners are ready, we're happy to count y'all down.
Yeah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so I'll count down from 3. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, Void.
Yeah, good luck to the runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to both runners. So this is Sonic 3D Blast, the one of 2 isometric games in the Sonic series, the other being Sonic Labyrinth. We don't talk about that game either. So the main gameplay loop of this game is you want to collect 5 flickies in every sector of every level. Sectors range from like 2 to 3 sectors where there's 5 enemies you have to find. Destroy them, get the flickies, and bring them to a giant ring, throw them in there, rinse and repeat. So that's more or less just how the Beat the Game category goes. There are 3 acts per zone, the 3rd act being a boss act with no flickies to collect. The chat knows exactly what's up and how we feel about these flickies. But I guess we'll talk a little bit about the movement mechanics and the flickies themselves, if you want to just start with that, Teach?
Yeah, sure. So, as for the movement mechanics themselves, or the physics, just imagine everything's up, essentially. Sonic will slip around, but it's quite a challenge to get used to, like, the way Sonic moves in the game. Slopes also play a huge part, so you'll notice that the runners, both the runners will try and jump down slopes and generally try to not jump up slopes because that will affect your speed. As for the flickies, there are 4 different types of flickies. We're mostly seeing blue and I think like purple.
Yeah,
like blue and purple now in the first zone, which is green, Green Grove.
Yes.
Right? That's something. Okay, good. I remember some things about this game. But yeah, so and there's a red one just collected there by
Void and Rhodes as well.
Rhodes. Yep. Yeah, they're pretty close right now, actually. So basically, the most friendly ones are the blue and the purple, who will tend to find their way towards Sonic. Reds are kind of annoying. They will bounce in place and sometimes can be hard to collect. Greens are the ones you want to watch out for once we get into Rusty Ruin, which is the 2nd zone, which will introduce the green flickies, which will tend to just kind of move wherever they want, and go around randomly and without much rhyme or reason.
Well,
yeah.
there is rhyme and reason to it. It's a little more complex to explain, and it has to do with like frames and everything, like what frame you're on in the level and relative to Sonic's position and everything. And Upthorn gave me it's not really worth talking about because generally speaking, these runners will be trying to collect flickies before they touch the ground, with the exception of a few different blue ones in particular, because blue are the easiest to control, as they are actively looking for Sonic, I believe, every frame, and will change their direction relative to where he is in the stage.
Yeah,
So,
as far as runners are concerned, like in real time, their movements are essentially random. Like they can't really be controlled, really. But yeah, they do have a method. There's a method to the madness.
oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so we're in Rusty Ruin now, and we're introduced pretty immediately to a new tile, a new type of tile that will spin Sonic around, and Sonic will then be able to break through certain barriers. So like you'll see right here on Rose's screen, he utilizes the tile to spin around, breaks the pillars, and immediately jumps out of it. There's a section right here as well that's really long, and it's really important that the runners do not jump or get hit here, or else they have to go all the way back to the beginning of the section to reutilize the spinning tile, and because you need it all the way through. And now it's very cleanly done by both Roids and Void there.
Roids and Void.
Did I say Roids?
Roids.
Roids and Void. Wow, I can't speak or talk today. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. That's. Anyways.
Oh, great. So the two of us merged just like you two did.
Yes, exactly right. So hard to focus when this is going now.
Anyways, so I can't get myself together.
Should have never invited me. Should have never invited me.
Jay's banned
Yeah,
permanently.
originally I was only invited to do commentary, and since I live with TGH, I was just like, hey, do y'all have a second commentator? Am I working with anyone? They're like, no. I was like, do y'all mind if Jay joins?
That was your
And they were
first
like, yeah.
mistake. That was your first mistake. Never again. I'm fired.
I didn't know you could jump across that gap, Rhodes. What gives? Sorry, so Rhodes actually just with a running start jumped across that gap. We like to say that most of the platforming in this game is non-mandatory because you can, like Rhodes just demonstrated again, with a running start you can jump across most gaps that the game's just like, here, jump on these impossible land-on platforms in the isometric perspective. There's only one section in this game where isometric platforming is mandatory, and it is aptly named mandatory isometric platforming, or MIPing.
And sadly, to the very end of the run.
Yeah, it's at the very end of the run. So, we're actually going to be entering our second boss fight. I know we didn't touch on the first one because it goes by quickly enough. Generally speaking, most bosses have a cycle. You just kind of like wait for Eggman to become vulnerable, avoid him, hit him when he becomes vulnerable. In this case, we're actually going to damage boosting, try to get a quick kill. Rhodes just missed it, so he did the right thing. And if you're confident in getting the quick kill the second time around, it is faster to kill yourself and go for it again. But at this point, it is not going to be any faster. So he's going to do the backup there by landing on the paw as intended. Yep, there we go. Yep. So, Void got the quick kill, which should result in 10 ITT, but it is, like, extremely tight to do so.
Yeah, I believe there's a 10 frame window for a 10.
Yeah, that is correct.
Fittingly enough.
One thing that is worth noting about this game is, depending on what console or what version of the game you run on, you either are using a D-pad or you're using a control stick. I know that, like, for example, TGH and I run on the Sonic Mega Collection version, so I use a GameCube controller for the analog stick with the notched bezel, and TGH uses, like, a knockoff,
it's called a Pelican pad.
It's called a Pelican pad, but it has a D-pad like a Genesis controller.
It looks like a SNES controller, essentially, but it has a
Genesis-style D-pad.
It has, like, a disc D-pad, yeah.
Yeah, so Rhodes plays on Sega Genesis, like, on a console with a D-pad, and Void actually plays on the Steam emulator version, which is another official release, but uses a GameCube controller for many of the same reasons that I do. And it really comes down to preference, so you can kind of use whatever controller is most comfortable. Some people like the analog stick, other people prefer D-pad. But the isometric perspective is very often the determining factor of what is most comfortable for you.
So we're in worst zone, by the way.
Yeah, worst zone, worst music, McDonald's place or discount Candyland, whatever you want to call it.
Either of those work.
But this zone is notorious for having hidden springs, these spike tiles where if Sonic stands on them for long enough, they actually start to have spikes come up, and I usually jump off of them so that like they don't have a chance to properly activate. And I love marathon commentary.
Doesn't let me see.
So, anyways, as we get that to stop catching on fire, the gold shield is actually super useful in this particular act because it's kind of the prehistoric homing attack from Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a precursor to that, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
bear with
reconnecting my
us while we
stream
get the
down.
sound
Yeah.
figured out, because we lost left stream and we didn't quite have right stream balanced yet. So they are gonna have to do some on-the-fly balancing here as best they can.
Yeah, my thing says it's reconnecting right now. I don't know why it went off.
But meanwhile, Void is in the worst boss in the game. This boss likes to throw a baby tantrum every so often. That's its main attack. Void kind of unfortunately lost control of the boss, which is really easy to do. This boss is not easy, but a 33 is a respectable marathon time, all things considered, because that boss is extremely hard to control. And it's very often a reset or game over heavy point for newer runners or even runners trying to go for a PB after they've learned the game. But now we're in Diamond Dust, so I heard you like ice physics, which is this entire game. So we put an ice zone in your ice physics game so that you can slip while you slide. Shoutouts to the only kid.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog.
Yeah, my whole OBS is currently like frozen up right now. I'm trying to just close it out and restart it while playing.
Yeah, you probably need to go into your task manager to do that. Hey, Void actually remembered to pick up the first flicky of the second sector, which is a thing I often forget. For those of you who don't know, there is another category to this game. It's called Best Ending, where you collect all 7 Chaos Cough Drops. And we have a trick in... This game is relatively glitchless. I mean, we don't use any useful glitches in this game for the run. We've had a couple of instances of flickies disappearing or going out of bounds on vacation, but so far no useful glitches have been found.
Only the sad type of glitch.
But Zergrif did find an exploit in how the game handles flickies not being attached to Sonic and then going into a special stage. Because when you free all the flickies in a sector, or a number of flickies, and then go into a special stage with them not attached to Sonic, and you come out of the special stage, they're attached to Sonic.
There we go.
And that's called freed flicky flagging. And even when I'm doing, you know, beat the game, I try to flag the very first flicky, so I'll just leave the green flicky behind, like, yeah, I don't need you, when I'm not going to the special stage at all. So that's fun.
Let's see, I went back live to see if that works. Hopefully it's fixed, I don't know.
Alright, so let's see if we've got Rhodes' feedback. Yeah, Sonic 3D Blast was just too much for Rhodes' internet.
I guess.
It blasted that process. Heck, for that matter, it blasted the process of OBS too hard.
Yeah, like my whole OBS just like literally just crashed. It's like never happened before. It's insane.
Meanwhile, Void is currently a golden lollipop because 30 frames per second is fun. This game normally runs at the Genesis' usual, like, 59 point something or other frames per second. Yeah, 97 frames per second. Why do you remember that and I don't?
Because I also play video games.
This is the only Genesis game you've run! But, yeah.
That's just a typical, like...
Shentalk.
Typical NTSC frame rate.
Shentalk with the correct frame rate of 59.85.
Oh. Well, I'm just an idiot.
I think 97 is SNES.
I think SNES is 60.06.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Oh,
but
man.
SNES is definitely an 8-bit one.
So, Void here in this boss has great AI, I promise you, but Void's actually utilizing something that the only kid actually found when he was tassing this game. Shoutouts to Kid. This was originally thought to be a TAS strat, and then Void started to implement them where you bounce off of the snowman to gain just enough height over Sonic's normal jump to hit Robotnik at the highest point we can possibly hit him on his descent. So that's actually extremely impressive. And just like Void said, no 48 for the marathon. They got a 48 in practice right before the marathon. They're like, yep, we got a 48, so it's not happening in the marathon. But now we're actually here in Volcano Valley, also known as Fire Shield the World. We don't actually pick up the Fire Shield in this act, but in Act 2 we do because it makes it significantly easier. But I do recommend it for anyone who's learning this game. There is a fire shield that is really useful at the end of the first sector. Pick it up if you're not used to this game. It'll save you a lot of grief.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fire shield what it does is it actually protects Sonic from walking on lava, from other fire sources of damage, so you'll have like these fire ropes and these flamethrowers. Sonic and his flickies can run unimpeded through them. And as a reminder, if a flicky doesn't have a shield on it, you'll notice that the shield goes onto Sonic's flickies as well. If a flicky doesn't have a shield and Sonic avoids the hazard, but the flickies don't, they actually get knocked off of Sonic and you have to recollect them, so it becomes a pain. Yeah, to answer Dagran, what happened to Rhodes is OBS crashed and something just went unfortunately wrong on that side. It was fine prior to the run going live, but...
Yeah, I'm still running it if it can ever get back up, but I don't know. So we'll see.
I guess so just let us know when you beat the game then, and we'll call your time.
I got you.
Sorry, friend.
No, you're good.
Yeah, that fire shield there that Void just landed on is the fire shield that Amber mentioned that is totally crucial for this act. So, yeah, and you'll see right at the end of the act, there is a particular section that just screams at you to actually have a fire shield to run through it. It's pretty volatile.
Yeah, if I recall, Zerg and I, when we were routing, when we were rerouting the best sending category, we counted how many fire hazards we had to deal with without the shield if we picked up the last Chaos Emerald in Volcano Valley 2. And the answer is like, anywhere, I think it was like 15 or 17. Because there's like a total of like five or six flamethrowers. You have the lava pit, you have the lava snake in the lava pit. It's pretty awful. Yeah, like the optimal best ending route would be to pick up the emerald in Volcano Valley Act 2.
Yeah.
Also, this is the pinnacle of boss design. I did stop calling this boss free in my splits because nothing in speedrunning is free, and if you start calling things free, you will automatically start dying to it. So I have had a very embarrassing death of multiple times dying to that boss. Incidentally, Void just demonstrated as well, you can just... Sonic can't get damaged after the boss is dead. And, hopefully... Okay, we're okay. One thing, I panicked there for a second, over with this stage is myself, Dagrin, and now very recently Kingrhodestn has had a flicky straight up despawn in this stage. That happens when you pick up a flicky and take a hit at the same frame. And the flicky just straight up, like, disintegrates. I don't know what happens to him, but he is never to be seen again, and the only way to fix it is to die. So that's fun. And it's extremely easy with these turret enemies running around, and the mice enemies with the green flickies, they're awful, so... fun times every time. Meanwhile, TGH here has had a flicky go out of bounds in Panic Puppet, which is the next zone. Next zone.
Flicky just straight up didn't want to be collected.
Yep. And yeah, dying on the Volcano Valley boss can actually happen if you're going for the most optimal strats, but it's just unfortunate that that happens.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate that that happens.
If you call, that's what I always say. Like, if you call something free, if you like want to call something free, then we reserve the right to make fun of you for it when you mess it up.
Rhodes is alive.
Hey.
And his audio's coming through, so we've got double commentary. We could always speak in unison and freak people out.
Hello!
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 Hello out there!
Oh jeez, I have to load up VLC again. Give me one moment. Give me the road stream. Because I can see him in the playback of the regular stream, I can't see him in VLC.
Yeah.
Which is not his fault, it is on my end.
Amber's Cypher.
Intis GH. I mean, we try. I'm also like, I'm gonna have to look up at the other stream and be like 10 seconds delayed for a little while until I can get this on VLC. Okay, I wanted to make sure I wasn't trying to load Void's stream twice. Please, VLC. Give me the real-time roads.
Hey, as soon as you get it, my OBS will just crash again, no big deal.
Yeah, so we've got, we've got, the AFK boss.
And he was trolling me for a minute, too, by the way.
Meanwhile, our Siri is going off saying, we got I don't know what you mean by we got of AFK boss. How about a web search for it?
Meanwhile, Siri is becoming a third unwanted commentator.
She did during Chaotix. Like, Siri was going off during Chaotix.
Oh, looks like Rhodes. Oh, there we go.
No, we go. We got it. Oh God, excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, I was allergic to the boss.
Or was it VLC?
What? I am also allergic to VLC because it refuses to work. I give up. I also bit my tongue during that sneeze, so that's great.
Ouch.
But Rhodes is in Panic Puppet 1, from what I'm seeing on the Blast the Process stream, so I'm about 10 seconds behind or so. This zone actually is unique because the first act has these flickies in these godforsaken tall canisters that are like impossible to jump on. And who knew that if Eggman just stuffed all of the flickies into these stupid canisters or the snowman enemies from Diamond Dust, Sonic would just probably not bother. Like, nobody would try to figure it out.
They're harder to hit than 90% of the enemies in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're like twice as tall as well. It's like, you have to hit them at a certain point in your jump. It is very annoying.
Yeah, it's extremely annoying. And then Act 2, as Rhodes goes into it, is the only act in the game that isn't the boss act, where there are no flickies, because according to the lore of the US manual, Robotnik ran out of time to put flickies into containers and enemies, so he just didn't bother. Mind you, there's a billion enemies around, just like none of them have flickies. A lot of people like this stage because it doesn't have flickies, because your escort mission is effectively over, and you know what, fair. But, we're gonna be like 10 seconds delayed on this too, because we got a very, very important thing to do here.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Eggman! Shout out to Swezzy. Another runner of this game.
That's pretty good.
But we'll also have it on Void's side of the stream as well, one there.
I should have died. When you guys get there, you'll see I should have died.
Oh my goodness. Oh, we missed it on Void's stream, no!
Eggman.
And also Void is going through the mandatory isometric platforming. And goes just fine. I thought for a second you were about to go through that moving platform, and that is the thing that can happen. It is awful.
Yeah, I feel like everyone has a different method for that. Like, very slightly different method. But whatever works for it.
Eggmant. I like that. Eggmant. Meanwhile, Rhodes is in the second phase of the final boss of Beat the Game. If this were best ending, we would have one more boss after this, but alas, you don't get treated to one of the worst bosses in the Sonic series. Or one of the most anticlimactic. I will admit, nothing is worse than Spring Stadium 3. But the goal of each of these, oh geez. The goal of each of these boss phases, is that each shoulder has 4 hits each, and you need to attack them while they're vulnerable. They'll start flashing when they are. I'm not sure if you're seeing the flashing because it's 30 frames per second. But we have a very determined, method of just being able to attack these shoulders. I've given up on trying to get,
I got time coming on my screen in like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Come down, let's see.
Time is on the fade.
Time.
GG.
GG. That looks like that was a 2650 something. I didn't quite catch it. The time was a little late.
27:05-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. 27 or so. All in all, a very close race considering we couldn't see half of it.
Yeah.
Like when Rhodes finally came back and he was in Giga 1, like in the same zone, same act as Void, like, that was impressive. Like, these are two of the best runners of this game, and for Void to only be, we also had time on Void's side as well. For Void to be only about 35 seconds or so behind, we already missed time on Void's side, but it was like a 27:39, 27:40.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had 27:39 on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that is incredible, and I think a chunk of that time loss came from, like, Spring Stadium 3.
Yeah, like, that was a solid 20 seconds loss on that one alone.
Yeah, like, because the optimal time that both these runners are capable of is either 17 seconds or 18 seconds in-game time.
Mm-hmm.
This game is judged on RTA, but we tend to use in-game time to figure out how well the stage went. And our ILs are done in IGT as well, so... But that was honestly a very impressive race, and I really wish that we could have seen more of Rhodes' time in that race.
I feel so bad for that. That's so bad.
It is.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. Like, you brought it back, and, you know, we were able to see the end of the race, which is awesome, and those credits are going crazy. Oh my god! But, yeah, for real, that is incredibly impressive for both of you. Shout outs to both of these runners, and thank you for having both TGH and I for commentary.
Thank you for doing it.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, if you ever want to, like, start learning this game is actually very good to the Sonic series as well as speedrunning in general.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of resources. There are level maps that Zergriff and I made. There are guides by The Only Kid. There's a task. There's a great community. Void is always very helpful, Rhodes, myself as well, Dagrin. Shout out to the 3D Blast community, and thank you for having us for the second Blast the Process in a row.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. If y'all enjoyed that run, which I know you did, be sure to check them both out. And don't go anywhere, friends, because Sonic Block is continuing. Next up, we're going into some very interesting, lesser-seen games. We have Sega Sonic the Hedgehog with Hypnotics next. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
That's a good one. Definitely catch that.